my clientele when I was, oh, nope, starting over. All right, it is live now. All right. Well, hello, everyone. My name is Katie Brenner, also known to many of you as Katie B. Hair. Welcome to Rusk's Freedom Academy, specifically the Sweet Life. And you guys will be joining me here to talk about everything from what it's like to be a suite owner to a platform artist, editorial artist. I've been in all avenues of the industry, and I want to help guide you guys through it. And today I'm going to be talking about social media. And then after I get into social media, we're going to do some techniques with Rusk's new styling line that I have back here for you guys. So what I want to get into is social media. Social media has become such a big, important tool to hairstylists. It really gives us a bigger reach than what we could have ever had back in the day. You know, if you were to be a big platform artist or have a huge clientele, you had to live in the big city. That was the only way that you'd be seen. Well, now today with social media, if you utilize it in the right way, you can really be seen and heard all the way around the world. You know, on my social media, I talk to a lot of people in Switzerland, Brazil, London. I have so many stylists that I talk to. It's amazing. And it can really, really help grow you. And what does growth mean? Financial security. So, with your social media, we're going to specifically talk about your page in your bio and how to set it up to set you up for success. So first of all, let's talk about Instagram. Instagram's where I have my biggest following. I am almost to 90,000. We're getting there. We're getting there. When you open up your Instagram page and you are looking directly at your page, you know, you have your picture and then it has your name and all the bio and everything. So let's start with the picture. So if you go look at my picture, Katie B. Hair on Instagram, you're going to see just my face. You know, I used to love posting shots that was like an action image or something really cool. But you guys need to know that in that little picture, it's not big. And you want people to be able to recognize you if you're out in public. So whenever I go to hair shows, like you can see my tiny little picture and you can see I have orange hair. And that's usually what grabs people's attention, but it's a very close up image of me. So they're able to see if it's a little one, they can at least see it of me. And don't do a cartoon one. We all love the avatars, but do a close up photo of your beautiful face that we all want to see. It also helps new clients that are wanting to engage with you. And when they show up, they're not like, oh, who's my stylist? And looking around, you're going to have that little photo help you out there. Next up, as you're looking at Instagram specifically at your page, the bold writing, the biggest one that you're going to see on your bio, that is searchable. So say someone goes into the search and they're searching like balayage, or maybe they're like, oh, I was told Katie B. Hair or Katie Brenner or Denver Stylist or any of those terms. That's what you want there. So since I'm known for my handle name, everyone calls me Katie B Hair. As soon as they type that in, it's going to pop up in their thing as mine is one of those first pages. And I have my first and last name, my handle, and I have my location. So I'm very easily searchable. And I also have in there color specialist, extension specialist, because that is what I specialize in. And that's what I want people looking up for me on Instagram when they're searching me. And then in your bio, you have a very small amount of letters that it allows you to use. So if you go and you look at my page, I have at Rusk. So I have Rusk tagged and I have in there my title with Rusk. Down below that, you're going to see the hair extension company I work with and my title with that. You can also put in there, you know, the brands you work with or you want to, and you tag them in there, and then that goes to their page. And if you do that with a brand, they love to see that. They love to see them tagged in your bio because you're showing support. And if you are not fully affiliated with them yet, It's a great way to get their attention. And it's a great way to stream. If you're getting featured on this brand's page, ever so often for your clients, oh, well, let me go look at that. And they're going to click on that brand and they're going to scroll and they're going to go, oh my gosh, this is cool. So it's correlating both of them back and forth to each other, getting brands' attentions and clients' attention. The other cool thing that I have that makes passive income while I'm asleep and I'm making money is Linktree, Linktree. It's free. What Linktree is it provides a link that I can put on my Instagram bio. So when you go to hit edit bio, it will ask you if you want to add like a website and say it was like kdbhair.com because I do have that and that's my website, but I use my Linktree, and Linktree will give you this little link that you can put there. And what Linktree does, it is so easy. So you use it and say I'm adding kdbhair.com. I put it in kdbhair.com, and anything I'm putting on the Linktree on that website, it's going to go into that link that I've already done, pre-edit it, add everything in there. The only thing you ever need to do is log into your Linktree for any link you need to add. And so when people go to your bio on Instagram, they hit the Linktree, and when they hit it, you guys can hit mine and you'll see it's going to pull up all my links. So for example, I have my clients and you can get products through me. And so one of the links on my Linktree is a specific link that Rusk made for me to sell my retail. So when clients are like, oh my gosh, I need that 2-minute hair mask and I don't have it in stock, they just go click on my Linktree and they'll see Rusk Hair Care on there. They click on it, and that specific link, which is considered an affiliate link, I will make a commission on. And a lot of brands do provide that, where instead of our clients going on to Amazon, we know they're taking pictures of products while they're sitting in the chair. Instead of that, the brands like Rusk get an affiliate link with them, or if it's your website for booking, anything that you will make money on, go in there, put those links on, and get those affiliate links. You can also Google brand affiliate links, and each brand offers different commissions. You fill out a little easy application, and they'll send you the link. You'll take the link in their email, you'll copy, paste it into your Linktree, and bam, you can be asleep and you're making money through that retail with Linktree. So it is super easy, and it's a way to make money without having to worry about sales tax, any of that sort of stuff. Because a lot of the times the brands are going to send you your once a month commission on what you made, and they do it differently with payment. Majority of them will send it via PayPal. So that's a great way for your income and your bio. So that is how you want to break down your bio to get attention from potential clients and from brands. Now, looking at your page itself, you guys, that is like, I wish I had it as a baby stylist, to be able to have a digital portfolio that someone has their phone, can look up KDB Hair, and they're like, oh, that's your work. So with your page, you can make it 2 different ways. First way is your digital portfolio. Do not post work that you don't want. Like I think vivid work is really fun. I dabble in it and I do a little bit of it, but that's not my main clientele. So I'm not posting any vivid work I'm doing in my chair on my social media page. What am I posting? I am posting work that I love to do. Therefore, I can get more of it. So I'm a lived in balayage colorist. And so what I'm posting is work that I love to do, that I get excited to do, that's sitting in my chair. So anytime I'm posting it, I'm going to have people that are looking up those hashtags and whatnot, and they're going to find me. For example, my tattoos on my arm. You guys can see, kind of see. Let me get it in screen. I'm not sure I understand. You guys, Siri's talking to me. Stop it, Siri. So on my arm, I have watercolor tattoos. And how did I find that specific artist for me? Instagram. I typed in watercolor tattoo artist. And then it gave me an array of tattoo artists in my area. And I went to their pages and I looked at their art and I looked at who they were. And that's how I found what I want. That's what our clients are doing. They're going on and they're finding hairstylists, whether it's an extension, vivid work, balayage work, and they're looking at our pages and they're going, oh, that's what they do all day. That is my person. That is my stylist. And that's how you're going to really grow your clientele, with making sure your page is aesthetically matching to the work you want to do. Like, I also don't do men's cuts. So even though I'm cutting my husband's hair, I'm not going to post it on there. You did see it once just because it was a cool color I did do on him. But that's the only one you'll ever see on my page, because I'm not doing men's cuts. I'm not doing kids cuts. I'm not doing perms. There's services I don't provide. I'm not going to post on my page at all because I don't want any of that. It's kind of like the philosophy, what you put out there, you get back. So if you're going to be good and sweet, you're going to get that back. So same thing with your page. And then that's with how we can grow our clients. And the really cool thing too is you have a client sitting in your chair and you're like, show me some inspo. Pull up your page and say, show me what you like on my page that you would like. It's not edited. You know how to create it. And that is your work. That is your style. They are not showing you a Pinterest photo that has unrealistic expectations to it that you're never going to be able to achieve for them. Even the best colors can't do and outdo a filter. So taking pictures of all the work you love doing, of everyone you love doing, and just post them. Don't worry about engagement. Just get them up on your page. Create that digital portfolio for yourself. So when you have that client sitting in your chair, you can go through your work specifically and be able to give them an outcome that they're going to love, because it's something that you've already created before and you're going to recreate for them on their hair. So keep that in mind too. When I get before and after photos, I really try to utilize my time. If I'm running ahead of schedule and I'm doing good on time, I'll ask my client once I'm finishing them, I'm like, do you have time today to take a quick little photo? And some of them are like, no, I'm in a hurry. And then there's others that are like, yes, absolutely. So I try to make sure I do that, and with everyone that I can, and get into a good habit with it. If you need to, say you have a client that's coming in, I'm always use the name Sally. Sally with a beautiful balayage. And I always get excited to see her. And I know her hair looks beautiful every time. I might schedule extra 15 minutes after her appointment so I can really style it, take a ton of photos, take a ton of videos, and get that content that I need to attract that clientele that I want. Okay? This is how we're going to set ourselves up for success. And you'll be shocked that social media can really do that for us. Now, when it comes to taking the best photos, I get asked this all the time. So my sister, she's like my guinea pig. And when I moved into my new salon location, studio location I've been at now for 5 years, my last place, I got so used to, like, I knew the good spot, the good lighting, and where to go. Now at a new place, I'm like, where do I go? Do not take photos in your chair, you guys. My experience, it does not show off your work unless, like, you are that one in a million that has really beautiful, natural, perfect lighting at your chair and it is showing it off. I used to take photos in my chair and I look back at that work and I'm like, oh, it just looks flat. It doesn't show it off. So I took my sister, did her hair, and I'm like, let's walk around my building. Let's take photos. So I'm walking around. I try by all. I have a huge window in my studio. I love it. So I take her there and I sit her down and I take photos. And after I take those photos, I look at my phone and I'm like, looking at her hair. You want to make sure the photo you see on your phone is what you're seeing in front of you, because sometimes you're not. And you're like, why is that so flat? And it's the lighting. So I took her in my studio by the window. I took her upstairs. I took her in the back. And then my go-to favorite spot, I think it drives my building nuts, is literally in the front door. It's east facing, non-direct light. And what I do is I stand outside the door and I'm holding my foot. Like, here's the door right here. I'm holding my foot, keeping that door propped open. My client is right in the entryway of that door, and I'm on the outside of the door. And I'm getting the photos like that. It is the best lighting. And I use just my phone for the settings to get those beautiful images. And what I'm doing is I'm taking my phone and I'm getting down low and I angle my phone and I play with different angles of my phone. And I'm taking like 100 photos, you guys. It's not like 2 or 3 photos and you're done. Do different poses. The cool thing too is I'll do a front shot. And what I like to have them do is I have them face me like this. I say, take your hands, put them behind your back, lean forward and look down. And then we fluff all the hair forward. And then I'll say their part is like hard right here. I'll have them look over their shoulder. So all that hair on the extra side and lean forward and we get a shot that way. Then I'll have them take their hands in. They have a hard time with this. Take their hands in, fluff it up and do it forward. Then I'll have them turn around and I take a back shot. All those different poses are going to give you different post. Not because it's one client, you're like, all right, I'm limited to just doing one post of this client today. No, if you have like 4 different poses, that's 4 different posts right there. So really utilize getting those poses and those different posts. And that's just going to keep adding to your style and to your page and really utilizing your way that you do your hair art. After taking photos, the next best thing is, do we edit them? Absolutely. Do we edit the hair? Absolutely not. So I recommend using InShot. It's an app and it's free. And what I like to do for InShot is I want to make the hair the focal point of that photo. You want to make sure you're zoomed in as much as you can. So when you're posting that hair onto social media, you're going to get that hair. You don't need all the back, the fuss, anything going in the background. So then with InShot, I'll do vignette, but vignette is where it's going to darken the background, but don't darken it so much where it creates like a black halo around your photo. Don't do that. I usually do about 50%. And then the background in my studio entrance, depending on the time of day, it can look blue, it can look weird. And if I'm doing a certain color, I don't want it to look like that. So then I also have my other app, which is Facetune, Facetune, Facetune. And Facetune, they have a blur. And what I'll do is I'll zoom in and I'll blur out, like there's a vent up in the right-hand corner, or, there's weird plants because there's a lot in the background of my images and you wouldn't know that because I either blur or remove out of the background. I don't want that fuss. I want my clients to see that beautiful image of hair. And so that's what I utilize the editing apps for. Another cool thing is I'm an iPhone user, directly in your iPhone, you go into your pictures and you can hit edit and you can tilt the image. And I like to tilt it where I tilt everything forward. So, say it's a back shot and it's going to make that hair full. It's going to make it big. It's going to show off the ribbons and the melt and everything that you did. It's going to give them like a zoomed in image of that for you guys. So those are my few little editing tips and tricks to make sure that when somebody comes to your page, they know what you look like, they know your full name, they know where you live, they know what you specialize in, and then when they go down, they're going to see your work. I'll get into more social media of getting brands' attentions, more in depth into that, into future broadcasts, but that today is what I want you guys to go and do. I want you to go and look at your pages, make sure the bold captioning is labeled how it should be labeled. I want you to check your bio, making sure you're saying what you do. One of my pet peeves is stylists will put their handle name in the cap, but not their name. And then I go to meet them and I'm like, who are you? So think about that. That's what your clients and brands, they're like, who are you? Because we all have our handle. I'm Katie B, but I'm also Katie Brenner. So make sure that your name is in there as well for that. And really, if you haven't embraced social media, embrace it. It's the time to. It's going to grow your finances. It's going to grow your books. It's going to grow your reach. It's going to do a lot for you, but you have to use it like a tool, just like we do the tools behind the chair. You have to use it correctly for it to work, just like we're going to use tools behind the chair correctly for them to work. All right, now that I have chit-chatted a ton about social media and helping to grow, let's talk about something else. If you guys haven't seen, Rusk has come out with their cool, beautiful, sexy new style line, and that's what I'm going to show you guys today. and I'm going to talk through the products, and then I'm going to show you guys different ways to curl with your curling iron to get those beautiful images on your social media and really hone in on what your finished style is and really create that. Like, I know it's a funny joke with a lot of my friends, my hair besties. They say that they can look at my photos and know that that is my work without even seeing that it's my work. So I want you guys to really hone in these different curl styles you can try and see if that is your style and really play with different stuff. So let me get all set up. Let me move this away. And I keep saying I love Sally. Here is Sally the mannequin. But before I get into Sally the mannequin, here's the beautiful products. And I'm going to go through all of them for you guys. Let me get this set up so you guys can hear me and see. Okay. So first up, this is the brushable hairspray. This hairspray is the bomb.com. Like, you don't need any other hairspray except for this one. Why? Because it's buildable. So you can start off and just do one spray over and it's nice and soft, and you can work up the strength of it to make it really strong. This is also great for our clients. You can tell them, this is your one-stop shop. Say you're wanting some brushable soft curls for the day, grab this guy. Say you're wanting something that's sleek and a lot stronger, grab this guy. Just layer it and use it right. And this can be soft to strong hold hairspray. Next up, I have the main can at my studio where I do hair. And then I have the can that was the sneak peek. This is the Rust Dry Texture. I'm going to be utilizing this today. The dry texture, you guys, when you go and you look at my images and you look and see like the beach waves, that tussled, really beautiful curls, dry texture is my go-to. It's going to give a little bit of grit, a little bit of hold, but allows volume. So think of dry texture as your volume hairspray in that sense. And it's really going to build that in for you and allow you to create those curls and move them in that effortless kind of whimsical look. Like, say you're wanting to do a boho updo, that dry texture, that is what you want to use to really build in that kind of grit that you want to the hair. The hairspray, I like to use that for more of those glammed, refined, finished looks. And so dry textures for the beachy look. So that's kind of how I know which one to use and when. Just like when we're using a knife, we're not going to use a butter knife to cut steak, right? Just like we're not going to use dry texture on our glam waves if you're wanting full glam. Next up, we are going to have this guy right here. This is the volumizing mousse. This mousse is the aha of all mousses. It's not going to give you that, when you put a mousse in and it's just like that crunchy, you're like, oh, I put in too much mousse. This will not do that. This mousse is a mousse you can put in wet or dry. Yes, you can put it in dry, and it's going to build up that volume for you. And it's really going to give that lift. When I'm doing a blowout, I love that mousse because it's going to give me that texture and that pull I need at that root to create that natural volume for you. Then we're going to get into our anti-frizz serum. This serum, bomb.com again. I use it wet and dry. So when I'm wanting to do the perfect blowout, I like to do the anti-frizz serum, oh gosh, don't drop it, the volumizing mousse, and then I will pair it with the blow dry balm. These guys are my trio for the perfect blowout because the anti-frizz, it's going to help smooth down, refine that hair, prevent any frizz from happening. And then we have the blow dry balm. It's going to protect, it's going to help with that blow dry, create that look you're going for. And then we got the volumizing mousse to give that va-va-voom. So these three are my go-to when I'm doing a blowout. And also with the anti-frizz serum, what I love about it is when it's dry, say like right now, if I had a bunch of flyaways on my more slicked back bun that I have going on, one little pump, emulsify it through your hands, and you're going to get those flyaways to really smooth down. Sorry, I'm trying to put these down without them falling all over each other. The Light Hold Gel. This one is really cool. Mr. Matt Sweeney, he taught me a cool thing that I knew, but I just needed to remember and like refresh myself with. So the Light Hold Gel, it is a very light gel. It can be utilized in many ways. A cool way is with your blowout. So say you have that client that like that fluffy, fine hair that just, it's really hard for it to hold its blowouts or styles. Add this into that trio and it's going to give you even more hold, but not such a strong hold that it's like, ugh. It's going to give that memory and that hold into that blowout and give you that like 90s blowout that everybody is like all over right now. Then we have the finishing cream. This finishing cream, I just had to open it. I love the smell of it. It is the perfect for a finishing cream. So say you have some like glam curls or even dry texture curls and you want to give a little bit of separation, a little bit of moisture. That's what it's going to do. And the finishing cream is going to help remove any frizz. It's kind of like the lotion for hair. It's nice and hydrating for the hair. You can work it with up styles, down styles, anything you want. A little bit goes a long way with it. The next up we have is the pomade. So this pomade is a semi-matte pomade. It's going to texturize and define. And believe it or not, the pomade is one of our top sellers. I just learned this the other day, and I can see why. Use it in men's cuts, pixie cuts. Use it in your updos. It's that pomade that is really going to give you that perfect finish, because I feel like I struggle with some pomades that just don't have like that. They're too much. They're either too tacky, too sticky, too much shine. This is like that Goldilocks formula. It's not too much, not too little. It's right in the middle for that perfect pomade that you need. The thing that I've loved most about these products that were created, and all my clients say this, is the smell. The smell is, it's not masculine and it's not feminine. It can literally go either or, because that's how it was created. And so some of my clients are like, my husband keeps taking my hairspray, or like the Color RX shampoo and conditioner. They all have that same smell. So as soon as you use this, you smell it, you know it's Rusk. Like my husband, he'll walk in and he's like, oh, you just use Rusk, because he can smell it. And it's a beautiful, delicious smell. Now here's a tool I use for my hair color. This is the 2-minute hair mask. When I am doing hair color, specifically teasy lights, you guys do not sleep on this. Teasy lights, how many of you guys have had a hard time trying to get out those teasy lights and you're like, oh, this is a nightmare. So say I have a whole head of teasy lights in. I'm going to pull out the foils. I'm going to wash it. You're going to try and shampoo and cleanse it as much as you can. If you can't do that because there's so much tease there at that root, get your 2-minute mask, emulsify it all over the hair. Then I want you to get a wet brush, a detangling brush. And specifically, I have one right here. I just used it on my mannequin. Let me pull out the hair in it. I like to use wet brushes for teasy lights. See how those are really fine? They're soft and they're flexible. So use one of these detangle brushes. It'll say on it, this one's for fine to medium hair. A soft detangling brush, pair it with your 2-minute mask, and just work it. And as you're brushing that out, tell your client, be like, let me know if this hurts or gets uncomfortable, because some clients are more tender-headed than others. After you get it out, wash it and then shampoo it. By doing that, we're prepping and getting the hair ready if you're going to put a gloss on, because some people get concerned with shampoo condition. They're like, if I go to put a gloss on the conditioner, it's going to seal it. It's not going to deposit. It's going to be fine. It's actually going to even out the pH balance and set the hair up for a nice, perfect canvas for your gloss to go onto. Before I get into style, I want to give you guys some of my go-to fall formulas right now, because that is all the rave. So I am obsessed, because we know fall, everyone correlates it to the trees, the changing colors of the trees and the leaves. So it's all about the copper golds, it's the reds, it's the cowboy copper. And I know that's a big thing right now. Everyone's like, can we just stop naming it? And it can be kind of intimidating. You're like, oh, well, what's cowboy copper, when your client is sitting in your chair and showing you cowboy copper? It's just a red variation, you guys. Don't overthink it. Look at, like, I'm obsessed with 9CG right now, the Deep Shine Demi. I used it on my sister's hair, and it was like, it took that blonde to that perfect, like, coppery fall blonde. Using the deep shine demi line and really utilizing and playing with all the copper golds, the reds. It's demi. So it's a great way if you have a brunette that wants to play or a blonde that wants to play, it's not permanent. So by the time they come back in and it's winter hair, and we know we're going to have different winter formulas, it's going to be gone. So really have fun with those guys. And then the other best kept secret is utilizing the express glosses. The express gloss you can add to any of the deep shine demi. It's going to speed up that process. And I feel like it adds more depth. So say I'm wanting to do like a 4CH, 5CH, 6CH, like I want a good chocolate in there, but you want to make sure you really get that punch, grab your 7N. Even though you're using darker colors that express, after 5 minutes, it's going to darken, 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 and it's going to help speed up. So if you're running on short on time, grab one of the express glosses in the tone that you need and add it to any of your deep shine demi. Alrighty, let's get into showing you guys some different curls and styles. So I'm going to pull her up right here, pull you guys up closer, get you guys to see her. So as you can see, she has some wave in her hair. I wanted to show what it would look like with a natural wave going through the hair. I have completely brushed her out, and now we are going, I'm going to take her out. That's what I'm going to do. All right. So now I'm going to take my sectioning comb and then my clip. I love using these clips that have the rubber band on dry hair because you're not going to get any indentation on the hair. So say you blowed it out. If I were to use one of these clips, these guys are going to create indents in dry hair. They're great for coloring hair and wet hair. These guys right here, really good. And then another option for dry hair styling is these clips are magical. These metal, a bunch of different companies make them, and they hold in tight. But we're going to use this guy right here. This one is made by Framar. They have their line. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the tail of our comb, and we're going to come through, and I'm just going to section a section, and I'm going to show you the different curls on this one section, you guys. And she's got a lot of hair. It's nice and heavy. We're going to twist and we're going to put up, and you guys will see how good this clip really holds. Voila! All right. Now next up, we are going to reach for our curling iron. I'm running behind the screen so I don't burn myself with the curling iron while I get it out. The curling iron that I am using, you guys, this is a curling iron you're going to see me use almost in all my videos. This is the Rusk Titanium curling iron. What's beautiful about this curling iron is it has an extra long barrel. So when you're working on really long hair, you're not going to run out of space. The other great part is even though it is extra long, I use this guy on my short bobs. It works with any length. Even my girls that have the extensions, they can handle it all. Then you have your heat setting right here. And remember, low and slow is the best way with heat. When we have our heat setting cranked all the way up, what is that going to do? It's going to, first of all, if we have our heat setting too high and you just did a fresh color, I've seen this done before, even by very seasoned stylists, they're flat ironing or they're curling and that beautiful like copper gloss or ash gloss is disappearing, even with heat protectors. If you have it too high, bye-bye gloss. So make sure you preach that to your clients as well. Turn down the heat. And if you know your curling iron is going to be sitting for a hot minute, just make sure you maybe put it on a lower heat. And I'm actually clicking through mine right now to drop it down because it's been sitting for a minute. So the Rust Titanium, and it's also going to add really beautiful shine to the hair. Next tip, when I'm working with my sections, how I know what size to take is the size of my curling iron. So you look at the tip right there, about that big. So when I'm coming into my section right here, that's going to be about the amount and size that I'm going to take for my curls with curling. And I'm going to show you guys the different curls on this row, and then I'll get into playing with some more. Now, her hair has already been prepped with my styling products. I used the volumizing mousse, the anti-frizz, and the blow dry balm on her. And that's going to heat protect. And I also washed her, and I used the 2-minute hair mask. So she is ready to go. Let's straighten out her cape a little bit. What we're going to do first now is you can either work with a comb or you don't have to work with a comb. I go back and forth depending on what look I'm making. So we're going to come in, we're going to grab our section, This first curl I'm going to show you guys is going to be a flat wrap classic curl. What does that mean? So flat wrap means all of this is going to wrap around my curling iron flat. We're not going to have any twists in it. And this is what your traditional curl is that you will see with glam waves especially. And if you're doing glam waves, this is a very important way to make sure you're doing it. And I did brush it. Important part for glam waves is making sure you comb it before you start it. We're going to come in, open up our clamp, heat up your base, and we're going to start curling at the base first. Heating up the base is going to allow you to not get an indentation, because how many of you have had that before where it indents? And I'm just controlling, because her hair is so long, I'm holding the ends, and those ends, by holding them, it's going to give me more control over my curling iron and being able to keep this nice and flat and pretty. Now you have the option to curl the ends in the curling iron, or you can leave them out. When I'm going for a full glam look, I want to make sure that I curl them in. Now when I drop it out, tap, 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 open it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of squish it in my hand, because she's got so much hair. I don't want this curl to drop right away, because then you're going to lose all of that curl. I want it to cool down for just a minute, because we know the rule. If we mess with a curl that is hot, if you brush it out as soon as it's hot, it's going to go flat. So we're just going to kind of squeeze it in our hand and just softly let that bad boy come down. And then I'm going to brush them out and show you guys the difference as well. So that is a glam flat wrap curl. We're going to let her cool right there. Next up we're going to do is I'm going to show you the complete opposite of that. So now we're going to do a beach wave. With beach waves, what's important is we're going to leave out a bunch of the ends, but even though we're leaving out, we're still going to smooth them. And you can change the variation of how much of your ends you want out. Sometimes I'll go extreme and I'll leave out a lot of their ends, or maybe I just want a little bit, or you can rotate through. That's really going to change up the texture for you. And we're going to do the same thing. I always curl the same way. We're going to heat up at the base. We're going to curl. And this one we're not going to leave on as long. And we really want to make sure that this one is dropping down. So see, I've curled and I have half. We're going to drop, drop. And I'm pulling that and twisting it at the same time. I'm stretching out that curl. These side by side, you can see this one is dropped and loose. And this one has much more refined curl going to it. And then when I brush them, you guys will get to see that as well. And I didn't worry about the beach one holding it like I did with the glam. Beach waves, we want them to really collapse for us. Okay. Next up is a twist around the curling iron. So a lot of our clients, they have, the wands that they use. So I'm going to utilize my curling iron like I would a wand. This is going to be another really fun texture curl. And what happens with this one is we're going to start up here at the base, and we're going to wrap, and we're going to twist it as we're putting it in. And so the twisting on it is really going to create a fun texture in it and give you more of an effortless beachy texture. And how long do you keep it on? Sometimes I count, sometimes I don't. I usually say if it's too hot to touch, it's too hot to be on the hair. Now you can see this curl, how different of a curl it is next to this beach curl, next to the glam wave. So these are 3 different curls right here. And I'm keeping these guys in a vertical upright with my curling iron. The next curl that we're going to do, we're going to put our curling iron on a horizontal. And this is going to create an even different look. So let me step to the side now that I'm moving to the other side of her head. And this is the horizontal one. So what this one's going to do is it's going to create more volume at her base, because what are we doing? We're heating up at the base. We're wrapping, and then she's got such long hair. You just got to really wrap those ends around, flip them. And we're just going to go like this, flip, 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 get them in. I'm going to leave the ends out on this one just a little bit. We're touching, we're touching. Once it becomes too hot to touch, that's when we're going to drop it. And this one's actually going to come out sideways. So we're going to clamp, 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 clamp. I'm hitting those ends right here with the curling iron still. Touch, 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 touch. See how that came out like that? And we're going to let that just drop. This one is very similar to my Glam Wave one, but what do you see is different? Look right here. See the bevel and the volume from creating horizontal to this one being vertical? It is more of a collapsed look. So those are the 4 different curls that we are working with that you're going to see. Now I want to deconstruct them and show you guys how different they look. So, and with the different sprays. We're going to now go in with the brushable hairspray, and we're going to do the Glam Wave here. I'm going to use it on the Glam Wave here. Then on these 2 beachy curls, I'm going to use the dry texture and show you guys that, okay? What I also like to say is when you are spraying your hairspray, keep it a can's length away from when you spray. If you get up close, you're going to create a really strong, stiff hold, and you're going to get the hair wet. So we're going to make sure we're from afar, and we're just going to spray. And I feel like when you spray it too, you're cooling down that curl, especially this guy that was just curled. We're going to spray it. It's very brushable, and so you can layer on as much as you want. Now we're going to get to the dry texture spray. We're going to shake, and then I'm going to lift up this guy, and I'm going to spray it so I can keep it off that Glam Wave. And then the smell, oh my gosh, it's like perfume for the hair, but it's not perfume. It smells so good. Now, when it comes to how you brush out, your curls, that is going to make all the difference. When I'm wanting like a textured beachy wave curl look, I'm going to use my fingers or a wide tooth comb. If I'm wanting to do a Glam Wave and I'm wanting those soft, beautiful waves, I'm going to use a soft brush. Typically like a boar bristle. I have one right here. I will show you guys the boar bristle brush. That's going to really smooth and soften it. And I'm going to show you guys the difference of it. So let's see if I can scoot up here so you guys can really see these curls now. All right. Now, once again, Glam, Beach, Beach Wrap, and Glam. And what we're going to do is I'm going to take my brush and we're going to brush it out. And you're going to see the Glam Wave. I'm trying to stay off that texture wave. And we're going to brush it out. See how soft and just like pretty that is? And we can fan it up too if we want to. We can really get in here and create that gorgeous glam look that you will see. And that's how typically I build my Glam Waves, is I sit here and I'll just kind of pinch and pull and create that nice little wave that's going through there. All right, next up we have the 2 beach curls. We're going to use the best tool we have, and that's our hands. And I'm going to comb these guys together with my hands, and I'm just going to take them through, and we're going to rake it through. And then you guys are going to see how, look at that. Okay. Now, as we see, we're going to pinch this guy up, and you're going to see the difference. How it's more, this one's more of a spiral around. See that? And these guys are more collapsed. This one that I wrapped around the wand, it is always going to be much more of a wave. Like, you know, those soft waves that you see? That is what happens when you do the wrap like that. Now let's comb out the last one right here for you guys. And we're going to use our boar bristle again. Brush it all the way through. It's so pretty. I love Glam Waves, but I'm also a sucker for beach waves. And then we're just going to take this and we're just going to pinch. We're going to get it to bring up that body and that bevel that we created at the root for it, like that. And you're just going to see the waves coming through. And now when you do put these waves on top of another wave, they're really going to start to collapse on top of each other. Now, when I'm working with Glam Waves, I'm going to curl everything in the same direction so they collapse down on top of one another. When I'm working with beach waves, I'm going to rotate the direction of the waves to create more of that effortless curl. Let me give you guys more of a back view of it so you can see. And you can see those guys right here. And I'll show you what I'm talking about when we rotate the directions of our curl. So I'm going to come up. I'm going to take my next section, and I'm always going to take my sections the same size of what my curling iron is. And then we're just going to twist and put it up. Now, I just have to remember what curls were underneath. So this one right here, I'm going to make sure it can collapse in to that curl right there. So we're going to brush through because we want it nice and smooth. And remember, this one is a horizontal wrap. And horizontal wrap, what is it going to do? It's going to give us a Glam Wave But what it's going to do is it's going to create more body at the rootage for us, right? And so we're just going to keep working the clamp, tap, 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 tap. And I'm staying on base. I'm 90 degrees. I'm not dropping this. If we drop this curling iron down, then you're going to have less body and volume there. So we're going to hold it. I have the tips in. We're going to touch it once it's too hot to touch. Clamp, 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 clamp. Hold this guy here. I'm going to hold it for just a second because she is hot. And then we're going to drop. Okay? And I curled it the same direction as that guy right there. Now the beach waves, we're going to build this guy up again. So this one we wrapped underneath. And this guy we wrapped counterclockwise. So then we're going to wrap it the other way. And elevation does not really matter when you're wrapping it because we're creating a loose, beachy feel with the hair. So I'm just wrapping it around. Hold it, hold it. And then this guy, we're just going to let it drop. Then the next one next to that one, if you guys remember, we did that one is we utilized the clamp. It curled clockwise. So now we're going to curl the other way. But this one is the super beachy wave. And we're just going to work it down. And we're going to keep working. And then you can spiral and pull it all in the same time. And make sure you smooth these ends when you are doing beach curls. Nothing looks worse than beach curls that have frizzy, crazy ends. It's a pet peeve of mine. Have a finished look and not a undone finished look. Now, with her mannequin head, I don't have as much density as I would like for this curl to collapse on top of the other, but we're going to work it 90 degrees out from the head. We're going to heat up at the root, and we're going to make sure this stays nice and flat. Now, remember, this is a vertical one, so we're not going to get as much bevel as we did on that side right there. And as we're doing it, we want to make sure that we're not pulling that curl like we did with the beach curl. We're making sure all the hair stays on the curling iron. There's not a ton of hair there, so I'm sure as I touch, it's too hot. And then we're going to drop, but I'm not going to let it fully drop. Remember, we're going to smush in our hands because this is going to help prevent it from dropping way too much. All right, last go around that I'm going to show you guys. Now, once again, we're going to use the hairspray right here. Now, you're not going to go through each section and spray it like this. I'm just showing you guys how to utilize the products. What I usually do is I'll set the curls depending on what curl I want to do, and then I'll use the product accordingly that needs to be used on it. So we sprayed that with the new dry texture. And once again, we talked about what are we going to use? A boar bristle for glam waves. We're going to come through and we're going to brush her out. And then what you're going to see is she's going to want to go and collapse into the curl underneath her. See, that's the curl underneath, and that's her right there. Let me zoom you guys back in so you can see. Okay, so see, that's the curl I did first. And now it is overlaying on top, and then you can just take your brush and you work them in together. And then that is how you create those gorgeous Hollywood waves. And up here at the root, you want to make sure that like you give it some encouragement like that. And what you'll also see some stylists do when they're doing glam waves is they'll take their hairspray and then they're going to take the can and they're going to rotate the can in where those bevels go, because it just kind of helps like mold it, because that's the key with glam waves is making sure that you really mold them to one another. And then remember, I rotated directions because the glam collapses into itself because we rotate everything in the same direction. With beach waves, we're rotating opposite direction each curl to create a bounce off one another. We're just going to take our fingers, brush through, and you guys are going to see how big of a difference it really is. You have more of these like really soft beach curl waves versus like the glam waves. And creating the volume is really easy. See that texture in that body that just barely pulling on that is creating because I used the dry texture in her hair versus right here. It's nice and smooth and refined and finished because that's what the brushable hairspray is going to do. And we're just going to make sure we're always utilizing our hands to create the look that we want. And now I'm going to come back over here to where I created this last flat wrap traditional curl. And we're just going to brush it out. And with the flat wrap traditional curl, it's really, you're getting more of the curl from mid to end versus up here in the root area for you. And as you guys can see, the difference of each of these. Now, when I go in and I'm taking photos, I'm really manipulating these beachy curls as much as I can. And I like to build them up with a bunch of body and volume. You can also come right here where you pinch and squeeze the hair to push it up. And when I'm taking those after images of my clients, that's what I'm creating. And I kind of play between glam curls and beach curls with my clients, depending on the style I want to create in that image. But now you guys can see the 4 different curl styles that you can play with to create what your style is going to be. And just take the time, let me get back in screen for you guys, really take the time of honing in on what your style is, you know, and how you want to create it if you haven't yet. Get a mannequin out, play with products. Products are so important for that finished end result. If you're not using the right product, you're not going to have the right end result. And then you're not going to be able to really showcase it on your social media page. That's going to help grow your clientele, grow your business, therefore grow your income, you guys. So once again, thank you for joining me today. I had such an amazing time, as always, sharing all my knowledge with you, from social media, everything in my studio, to some hands-on styling, a little bit of color. Next week, I think I'm doing a color cut. I forgot which one, but every week I'm going to make sure I show you guys something different. You're not getting the same old, same old. If there's anything specific you guys want to see, make sure you let us know. Either go on to Rusk, onto their social media, send them a DM. This will be put on the Facebook page for Rusk, so you can comment below and let us know, you know, I want to see specifically baby lays, color melting, an updo, the wolf cut, whatever you guys want to see, let me know. And also if you want some more background, like I want to get into like the accounting side of being a Sweet Life owner to make sure that, you know, you're really taking care of yourself, that sort of stuff, you know, more of the business stuff that we really don't get a lot of knowledge on being hairstylists. I'm going to make sure that, you know, I always share 30 minutes of the business side with you guys and then 30 minutes of technique and hair. So just let us know what you want and then share with your hair besties, tag your hair besties, let them know that this is free. No one else is doing this right now. Every single week, you're getting really cool free content from myself and Matt Sweeney that Rusk is sharing with you guys. And I had a beautiful day with you guys. Go and try these curls. Go and check your social media and have a beautiful day, everyone. And I'll see you guys next week. I'm just sitting here, you guys, if this keeps going, making sure that it's recorded and not off.